Thanks to the technique, we're perfectly realigned with the schedule now. And we can start. Hopefully animations and video will work.
To make things work. Yes.
Surprise us.
Yeah, there are two animations and they are like not embedded, I think, and I have no clue how that works. So if that would work. Yes, that's what I will do. So, yep. Welcome. My name is Raymond, and I'm a freelancer in the Netherlands on open source GIS. I work for the OpenGeo group as well, and I'm a member, as far as you can be that officially, of the QGIS community. And I actually did this presentation in the Netherlands in November last year, and there was this slot free today, and that's how I ended up here. And I tried to translate everything to English. I think I managed, but you might have some Dutch artifacts still in the presentation, so you can shout whenever you find some. I guess you all know QGIS, but maybe not, so hence if you don't know QGIS, yeah, that's not really a problem, I guess. For the Dutch audience, I put here a screenshot to show them what it looks like. In 2002, Gary Sherman has started a small project. This is actually the oldest picture I could find on the internet of what QGIS looked like when it was very young. It's actually part of a bug. Someone who found a bug and put a picture there and showed that the projection was not working properly. That's why you see the layers. It was not that there was already some kind of shadow in QGIS, but then it's just an error. This is where this nice animation should go, which is not working, I guess. Let's find out. If I click somewhere, maybe? No, it's not. So, I'll try to show you some way in this probably Portuguese Ubuntu, yeah?
It's a Linux here.
So where's the desktop?
The desktop.
Oh, it's here. It's on the memory stick as well. I'll try that. Yes. So what I try to do is I visualize. It's not working, is it? It's happening. Localizar Ubuntu.
My eyes.
Sad face. Yes. Okay. So. There's only one application. Well,
okay.
It's not too bad. What I did, I used GORS, is a little program where you can visualize what's going on Git, and you can see how many people are working on the project, which looks very boring in the first month of QGIS because it's only Gary working on a few files. Let's go back to the presentation. Well, what I want to show is that sometimes at home I try to plant some seeds and then grow plants and maybe even tomatoes or something. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And I can just do that on my own. But if you want like a larger, you want to have like lots of tomatoes or whatever, you need more people to work. You cannot do this. Yeah, maybe if you're really working hard, you might be able to do this on your own. But if you really want a super cool, beautiful garden, then you need a lot of people to help with that. And what I wanted to show here is the next is the QGIS in August 2017, the development on GitHub, where you would see lots of people working on QGIS during the Hackfest in Nijssen. And well, that was a very nice visualization. You can see it on my laptop afterwards. But I'm not able to show you, unfortunately. And that resulted in a QGIS, which is now 3.2, the newest version. And this has a lot of extra features compared to the 2002 version, of course. Has anyone ever wondered why the numbers and the names in QGIS versions are like that? Or maybe are odd? Or Actually, they are not odd, they're always even. That no one noticed. I want to show you how it works. Actually, you have like the development in time, and there's more functionality coming. So all the stars are new functions, new features, and all the red ones are the bug fixes, because there are bugs all the time, and they're fixed, and that's the way QGIS improves over time. But that's like a continuously ongoing thing. So what happens is every few months there is a release of QGIS, and then it's compiled and everyone can download it. All the users that don't know anything about the compiling or developing part, they just want to use QGIS, they can download those. And it works like that. And here you see that all the minor version numbers are even. So you might wonder why that is, and that's because in between there are the development versions that are they also need a number. So they are the 213 to 15 in between the other ones. And well, this is actually the way it goes. And what there's this extra thing, which is the long-term release versions, and they are kind of you can use them for a longer time, and what happens is that all the bug fixes are backported to the long-term release version. So you can use like 2.18 is the long-term release right now, and all the bug fixes that are have been done up to now are backported to the long-term release. But if you want to use the new features that started, where's the mouse? From here, this one and this one and this one, then you need to download the newer versions, and you can use those. So it's only the bug fixes that happen. It's up to you. I don't know which one will be the next long-term release. I heard once it would be 3.2, but I think it might be late. It's 4? Okay, 3.4 now. Well, the code, this development, all the code goes on GitHub. I think most of you know, who doesn't know about GitHub and about working together on software projects. So this is where it goes, and here you can see in the blue line that there's more and more people working on QGIS. QGIS is used more and more, and it's kind of getting a larger project. So it needs a lot of extra organization. It's not just a few coders that know each other and they can send each other an email or some messages, and then they keep on working. In 2007, QGIS got incubated by the OSGeo organization, so it's quite a while ago. And in 2007, there's also the PSC has started, which is was not this team in 2007. This is the actual PSC team, the Project Steering Committee, and they're kind of the board of the organization. Then in 2015, things got a bit more official. There's the QGIS organization now, which is a kind of association. It's hard to pronounce, but I would say it's a Verein im Sinne des Schweizerischen Zivilgesetzbuches. It's an association in Switzerland, and it made things more official, and also we had a possibility to have our bank account and get even a Swiss bank account, which I always think is kind of cool, to get money from sponsors and use that. There's also now you have the PSC, and there's like the organization is larger now. You have the voting members. And then you have the OSGeo voting members, so OSGeo has one vote as well, and then every country that has a QGIS, their own QGIS organization, they get a vote as well. And then the rest of the community that are like me, not officially having any membership, but they can vote for the voting members. One of the things starting then is that there are QGIS grants. So if there are new ideas and people want to work on some stuff, but they need money for that, They can write proposals and how much it would be, and then the voting members can vote for those proposals, and then money is used for the work on that. So that made things a bit more official as well. That was my first part. This is that is the QGIS community. Then there is, of course, the membership. How do you become a member? And I asked a few people this week, do you work on those open source projects? And actually, is there anyone here, I see a few, that work on the QGIS project? Yes, I see that one. Yes, you did one commit. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, but nothing else, or you don't know you did, or yeah? Because I think a lot of people don't do that because they think they need to know programming, because that's like the C++ programming part is, of course, that's what QGIS is made of, so that is what you need to know, and if you don't know that, you have a good reason to sit back and relax and wait for the next release of QGIS. But there is something, I think it looks easier. I can go back and forth a bit, so it looks like at least shorter. You can do Python programming as well in QGIS, which is, I think, a bit easier. Which one of you know Python? Use that? So that's it's more than half of the audience, so that's easier, I think. But there's more to do. There's a lot of documentation going on. Actually, there's so much work in the documentation that I think that if the coders change pieces of the software, that the documenters have more work in changing that in the documentation. So you have to follow what's changed and what's new, and then write extra paragraphs to the documentation. I think Victor has told us how to do that and how not to do that this morning. So do it the right way. But it's a lot of work. You need screenshots, and as you see here, anyone has noticed any Dutch in the presentation? The documentation is also translated. So, and not just the documentation, the QGIS application is translated to many languages. The documentation is translated, the website is translated. So that's a lot of work as well. There's actually all the stuff written in English in QGIS has to be written over and over again in all these other languages. So there's a lot of work going on, and it's hard for the QGIS team to do that because you need native speakers of those languages who can know how to translate everything. Translation is in Transifex, which is a system we use that you can work on simultaneously, so everyone can work even in the same language. You can work together and translate everything, and then it's all uploaded to the database there, and then in the compiling process of QGIS, this will be automatically downloaded and put in place. So every new version will have the new translations. Then there's the filing bugs part. If you ever meet a bug, then please take the time to describe what you found. There's a system for that. If you have an account, you can just file a new bug. Better you try to find your bug because someone else might have met it already and described it. There are really hundreds of bugs, maybe even thousands, I don't know. There's a lot. So it's a super large piece of software. There are very odd places with odd hardly ever used file formats, and maybe they generated one bug no one will ever meet again, just that one person. So it's really hard to fix those. If you write the bug, then please try to explain as good as possible how you met it. Maybe you can even add a piece of data that can be used to reproduce the bug. Otherwise, the developers don't even know how to reproduce it, and they can never fix it. So keep an eye on your bugs, but it helps a lot. It's not complaining; it is helping. Then there's the testing version, which actually is related to the bugs. It's if you use the 3.3 version now, which is the newest. If you download it now and you compile it, then you'll have the really the newest features that were checked in yesterday. You can you can see them and use them, and you can be happy, but you can also meet new bugs, because every time new features are added, they might collide somewhere else in the software, and then you can file the bugs. So if you want to, please do. Then there's the mailing list. I think we discussed this, Victor mentioned this this morning. If you get you can be a member of the mailing list. You get all the emails everyone posts there. So you need a filter in your mail, so they will all end up in some kind of QGIS place in your email, and not between all the important stuff your boss is sending you. You can, you see just all the questions. First, you can be the one asking the questions, but you'll notice that you'll learn a lot from it. And that I remember the first time that I read a question from someone else, and I thought I was very new to QGIS and I couldn't do anything. And then I thought, oh, that question, I can answer that. I've seen that, and I found out how to do that. And then if you really don't have any time to spend on QGIS and to do that, then you might have money, and you can just donate money. If you download QGIS, you get this. And this is just a question, like, if you want, you can skip it, but you can also pay, like, I don't know, like 5 euros, 10 euros, whatever you think it's worth paying. It's used in a nice way, for example, for the grants. If you really don't just want to give money, but you want to get something back for that, and you think getting QGIS back is not enough, then you could buy one of the merchandise. There's a shop on the QGIS website. You'll find it, and there's like shirts like this, so you can look like this, but you can have your own colors as well. And every shirt that's sold, there's a part of the money is donated to the QGIS project. So it's I invite you to doing that. Now something's wrong. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Right here, I want to show you that during the Hackfest, the money is wisely spent on lots of pizzas for the developers. This was an extreme, I love the picture actually, but it was a quite extreme Hackfest with everyday pizzas like this. So it's not very healthy, but it was nice. And talking about the Hackfest, if you want, you can go there as well. You're invited to do that. They're twice a year somewhere, usually in Europe, but for the presentation today, I had to extend the bounding box of this sheet, because next month there will be a Hackfest in Zanzibar coming up, and it's a very nice place where you can the Hackfests are I don't know, it's a bit like here but smaller, and you'll be together with all the developers and helping each other and working together and also having fun and having a beer at night, and really nice. So that's actually the things I thought of you could do. Here's a summary. So you write code, you do the documenting, translating, testing, bug filing. You can share the knowledge in the mailing list or just with your colleagues, whatever. You help in that way as well, and you can donate money. So my question is, what will you do? Will you be part of the Hackfest family? or will you just stay being a user and download QGIS and happily use it? That's okay as well, but I think we can always need some extra hands and help. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. Lots happening behind the scene for producing QGIS. I have a few questions, as usual, but first, if...
Just a short note, after Zanzibar, meeting in Zanzibar, will be the next after Zanzibar. Next after Zanzibar, there will be the user conference and meeting in Coruña. That is not so far from here, in the north of Portugal. Oh, so sorry, in north of Spain. Was before Portugal 400 years ago, but now is Spain. It's still there. It will be in March of next year.
Okay.
during the carnival festivity.
Uh-huh.
Ah,
Thank you.
added bonus to go there. Any other comments? Yeah.
The translation efforts, are they somehow connected with the OSGeo live translations as well or not?
I don't think so. Not that I know. I never heard of that, and I'm quite involved in it. So, but I don't know how they get their translations.
Because I think they're using Transifex as well.
That's possible.
And cookies. Cookies is part of the OSGeo live disk, isn't it?
I know on Transifex there's a QGIS project on Transifex just for the QGIS translations. So it's not, that's not kind of in the same project with OSGeo translations.
Okay, but are they doing it over for?
They don't translate again. They get.
Because could then there be synergies between the tools? For example, I imagine that the terminology and some of the, I guess it's another level of complication also for the development teams, but could be.
Thank you. Is here someone from the OSGeo Live project? Well, I seem to be one of the little bit more qualified. As far as I understand, the technology is the same, but the translation which is done is completely different, of course.
Okay.
Within QGIS, we are translating on the menus and stuff like that. But for OSGeo Live, you are translating longer pieces of text, which every project is asked to put along with the project on OSGeo Live. So those texts are completely independent.
Mm.
But I would have a question as well, if I can. What caught my eye was the financial organization. Do I understand it correctly that to have some feature done, except for paying somebody directly, I can simply donate money to Swiss account, and the project steering committee will decide what they do with the money. Simple like that.
So if you have money and you have a wish that you want to build something into QGIS, is that your question, or?
Yeah, well, tell me something more about it. Exactly. There are maybe more possibilities, but still, I have a money and I donate it to QGIS.
Yeah.
Either I directly support some feature, if somebody is willing to do it.
No, you cannot do that. No. So it's decided by the board and the voting members how the money is spent. But if you want that was actually my I thought you meant that. So imagine you have money and you have like a wish. You want the money to be spent on something new in QGIS. You should talk to the developers. There are many developers having their own companies or working for companies that can develop your feature, the feature you want. Then you can pay them directly, and it will end up in QGIS.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about QAP process.
Yes, I had a. I didn't do the slide about that. But there's the you call it QEP. I say CAP. It's abbreviation for. So you have like a wish in QGIS, and you want to do that. There's a lot of people that is like this morning, like the users having ideas. That is very terrible. But there are many users having ideas for QGIS. So then you can write a CAP. It's written on the website how to do that. You have to explain what you want and why, what it should look like. So developers get an idea of what it is, and then they'll discuss it. And then you can find a way how to do that. Sometimes there's granting for the CAP proposals, but you can still ask developers if they want to work on that and do it.
Well, my comment is that QGIS seems to be the highest developed community within OSGeo, with all the processes set up. And well, thank you for investigating into this as well.
Thank you.
Any other comments, remarks? I'm Swiss, so I was just wondering why Switzerland for the project?
Yeah. That's Switzerland's kind of connected to QGIS. And they say cookies, actually. That is like a very nice word for a piece of software, I think. It's almost Android-like to call your software cookies. Yeah, I don't know exactly why it happened. At least the treasurer was a Swiss guy, so I think he started investigating in his own country how that worked, and
the first national user group was a Swiss one.
Okay.
And we use almost the same statute, the organization.
Yeah, the charter for the
chapter for that association, and was simple, bureaucratic way, simple for us to manage all the bureaucratic stuff there, and from that person that were already used with that bureaucracy. That's some kind of less work for us.
Okay, so it's not like there is a huge or center mass of the community in Switzerland or something like that.
Exactly.
it is, yeah. I think
is.
the Swiss community is like, well, as you say, is the first user group was there, and it is I forgot the name of the municipality that uses QGIS for many years. Yeah, and they
in Orador.
invested a lot in new features in QGIS, and so it was relying on that quite.
Nice to hear, but dangerous to trust a Swiss guy with the money. Yeah, yeah, but you don't see it back either. Okay, if there is nothing else, I believe there is a short break, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Then thank you very much for the session. Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you.